I want to talk about career paths. You mentioned in we were talking last week about, managing people. And you said, make sure to have a clear path towards advancement, career development, and increased salary for your people. And as a small business owner, this is something I don't know how to do well. I always try to give people, a fair wage. I try to increase that wage when we can, especially if their performance is, increasing, right, and all of that good stuff. But advancements, that whole idea of that in a small business environment, it's hard, right? Because there's only so many of us, and you can have my job someday. Like I'm not opposed to that, yes. but yeah. Then you got to make sure that's the smart move for that person. Not everybody wants my job. I'm not sure I'm qualified to have my job.
There's different ways you can do this.
Yeah.
I think there is no set thing. And especially small companies with just a few employees, it can seem like, well, what do you do? But I'm going to talk about some ways you can do that and get around those obstacles.
Because I want to maintain my, as you like to call it, my talent stack, right? My company's talent stack, just not my personal talent stack, but I want to expand that. And I want to keep my best employees, which at least in my companies are my only employees. I don't keep dead weight around. So if they're here, they are my best employees. I want to keep them around. Yes. Yeah.
And what happens with a career path is you also increase your company's knowledge base, which may even be more important than the talent stack.
That is so true.
Right. You need that. I mean, a good knowledge base, if using that terminology, something you could search and just come up with any answer. That's what employees that have moved up, the guy that was in the warehouse or the woman that started answering the phones and is now your CFO or whatever, or your accountant or, these kinds of things. But you can move them along with you as your business grows. And even if you don't want to grow your business, there's ways to do this. And so I'm excited to talk about it today. I think that's really important. Another thing is that, and I'm going to use this term here, having career paths and ladders, you can call them too. I like that term a lot.
I like that term.
Yeah. It helps you identify the slackers and the achievers. And both of them are really valuable, right? And when I say slacker, they just may not want to go up that, how far they could go up on that ladder. And that might be okay because along the way here, as you're talking about advancement, you have to remember about that. You mentioned this term a lot, the Peter principle, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to advance somebody up to the point where they're just not good at that position because that's a hard thing and you can lose people that way.
You always lose people that way. Well, yeah. And sometimes you are then forced to lose people that way. Where do you start? How do you lay the foundation for this? Yeah.
Yeah. And if you've heard this, if you've listened to the show for a while, we're huge fans of the E-Myth, the book that needs to be, everybody needs to read that. And one of the founding principles of that book is the org chart, your organizational chart that you should build early on, even if you're the only one, even if you're the only name that gets put in all those boxes.
Yeah.
You should create that org chart. And even if you have two people or whatever, because everybody wants to look at, here's the company. It's a visual representation of the company. And maybe you can make it more interesting and add some artistic things to it or, I don't know, uplifting things or make it look better than just a Microsoft, org chart thing with a bunch of boxes.
Sure. Have fun with it. If it's especially if it's just you, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Or maybe you print a big poster and you let people write on it in the break room or something. But that org chart should be posted publicly. It shouldn't just live on your computer. So people can look at it and see, oh, you know what? This person here, and maybe you even have, come to think of it, historical versions of it that people could look at and say, oh, Dave started here and look where he's now, because it's just a really good thing that they can see.
Oh, that's interesting.
Keep it updated. Yeah. Keep it current. And then maybe you have a dream org chart, right? Or something you call a aspirational